Welcome to Bite Size Learning. Lisa and I are so excited to share our fourth video in a series inspired by Peter Liljedahl's Building Thinking Classrooms in Mathematics. We just wanted to remind you that we tweet a new video each week and that all our previous videos are available on our website.
Peter Liljedahl's book, Building Thinking Classrooms in Mathematics, has shifted the thinking of many educators in mathematics and beyond around how institutional norms in education have encouraged the creation of studenting behaviors that often interfere with student thinking and learning. Over 15 years of research, Liljedahl has identified 14 factors where he, in essence, turned institutional norms on their head to see how student thinking would be impacted. He ultimately refined his research into what he calls optimal practices that promote thinking. And those are what Jill and I will explore over this series of bite-sized learning videos. Today, we will explore Liljedahl's fourth optimal practice, how we arrange furniture in a thinking classroom. Now, you may be asking yourself, furniture? How can furniture matter? But the research shows that it does. When you walk into a room, the furniture placement immediately communicates what you can expect from the time you'll spend in it, and that expectation shapes your behavior. Consider these two classrooms. On the left, you'll see that one is orderly and symmetrical, with the desks in straight lines and all students facing the front. Liljedahl's research found that these straight lines, symmetrical furniture placement, and fronting of the room all communicate that order and compliance are expected in the room. It also communicates that students will be doing a lot of watching and listening. On the right, you'll see a classroom that does not have a defined front. The desks are pointed in all different directions, and it's not symmetrical. This arrangement communicates that thinking, collaboration, and risk-taking are expected. Liljedahl writes in his book, "Thinking is messy. It requires a significant amount of risk-taking, trial and error, and non-linear thinking. It turns out that in super organized classrooms, students don't feel safe to get messy in these ways." Now keep in mind, it is possible to shift too far the other way. Liljedahl found the ideal classroom was neither too organized nor too chaotic. It is a relaxed space that creates an environment that feels safe to take risks, to try, and to fail. A room needs just the right amount of disorder for thinking to flourish. Now I'm going to pass it over to Jill.
So what is the optimal furniture placement? The move that was found to have the greatest impact is defronting the room. This means arranging the furniture in a way that there is no obvious front of the room. The desks don't all face in the same direction. When the room is defronted, students begin to collaborate more. Teachers start talking less. Demonstrating things at the board at the front of the room happens less often, and circulating throughout the room happens more. The research that Liljedahl did explored all the different alterations that could be made, and none were shown to have the same power as defronting the classroom. It was the singular most effective things in terms of organizing the room to induce student thinking. We know you may have questions like, where does my desk go? What happens if the chairs are attached to the desks? And Liljedahl does address those in his books, but you can get creative thinking about where those placements should be. So in summary, when it comes to furniture placement in a thinking classroom, the macro move you can make is to defront the room. This will look different in every classroom. The micro moves include clustering desks and tables away from vertical surfaces to create space for their use. Position desks and tables so that chairs point in all different directions. Resist always standing in what used to be the front, and circulate around the room while talking to the class. To conclude today, we'd like to encourage you to consider this question. How might I rearrange the furniture in my classroom to communicate to students that thinking is expected? There are lots of creative ways to defront the classroom. It may take some trial and error to find the right setup for your room, but by defronting the room, thinking will happen. If you give this a try in your classroom, please let us know or send us a picture of your new setup. Thank you for watching. Next week, we'll explore answering student questions in a thinking classroom.